everyone, it's MassiveJoes RAW review and I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Awesome! Raw review for the viewers at home today. You guys have been waiting for this one. It is, of course, on the all-new MTS Ruckus in the house. Let's get straight into it, show you guys exactly what's in it, tell you exactly what it's going to do. That tub is tiny, which means the nutritional information panel is too damn small. It ain't going to get it done, especially because we about to go balls deep in this MTS Ruckus. Luckily, got ourselves a big ass nutritional information panel for the viewers at home. Starting from the top. Actually, before I start from the top, let me firstly say that Ruckus is not a replacement for the ever popular MTS Clash. It's not a replacement. Clash continues as Clash. Clash, as the viewers at home who are aware would know, is MTS's clinically dosed in everything, performance-based, non-stupidly high in stimulant pre-workout supplement. Ruckus, on the other hand, is the polar opposite, is not clinically dosed in everything. We'll get to that in a second, but doesn't have a lot of your big performance-based ingredients like beta-alanine and creatine in there, but on the other hand is stupidly high stimulant. So on one side of the scale for the complete pre-workout lovers, you have Clash. For the stim junkies, you have Ruckus. Now let's go balls deep. Starting from the top, serving size 6.75 grams, which is 2 scoops. Got yourself about 20 of them 2 scoop, 20 serve bitches in one of these 20 serve Ruckus bitches. Don't get it twisted, there's actually 40 scoops. So similarly to Clash, 40 scoops per container, 2 scoops per serve, so 20 clinical serves per tub. That's enough maths. Moving right along, if you do a quick summation and you add up all of the active ingredients in here, you figure out that it comes to just over 4 full grams of active ingredients per 2 scoop serve. You got 6.75 grams, which leaves about 35% flavors, colors, and other bits and pieces in there, sweeteners and whatnot, which we'll get to in a second when we talk about how it tastes. It is towards the upper end of artificial flavors, artificial colors, and that sort of thing. But for the pre-workout supplements that we see that taste really good, and you guys know there's a bunch of them out there that just taste spectacular, they do head towards that 35, 40, even up to 50% artificial colors, artificial flavors to try and mask some of the nasty tasting ingredients that are in the pre-workout. Moving right along. Now we can get into the ingredients. Starting from the top, we got vitamin C, 250 milligram dose. Vitamin C obviously being one of the most useful vitamins we have seen thus far, in particular in Ruckus to help the absorption of all of these active ingredients. Moving right along, we've then got betaine nitrate, the NO-3T registered version of betaine nitrate. Betaine nitrate is a combination, obviously, of betaine and nitrate. We would call it a hybrid compound at MassiveJoes. On one hand, you get the benefits of betaine, increased muscle power, increased endurance, and also increased production, your body's production of creatine. It ties in really well with an ingredient down here called Eleva-ATP, we'll get to in a second. And on the other hand, you've got the benefits of the nitrates, obviously going to increase nitric oxide production and acts as a very strong vasodilator. Look at the dose of the betaine nitrate in this Ruckus, viewers at home, 1.5 grams. Stupid dose of betaine nitrate. Moving right along, we've then got L-taurine in the full clinical 1 gram dose. Taurine obviously going to increase muscle endurance and increase hydration as well. Moving right along, we've then got N-acetyl tyrosine. Look at the dose of N-acetyl tyrosine. 1 gram. 1 gram of N-acetyl tyrosine. I don't think we have ever seen a pre-workout supplement with that much of that ingredient in there. We've seen pre-workout supplements with maybe 500 milligrams of L-tyrosine, but not N-acetyl L-tyrosine, which is far more bioavailable, far more expensive as well from a production standpoint, but far more bioavailable. 1,000 milligrams? God damn! The most I've ever seen of N-acetyl tyrosine off the top of my head is 250 milligrams. So 4 times the most I've ever seen in a pre-workout supplement before. For viewers at home who are unaware, N-acetyl tyrosine has the ability to cross the blood-brain barrier, help with mental focus. That's the primary reason for putting N-acetyl tyrosine in your pre-workout. Moving right along, we then get into some of the stimulants. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to skip over dicaffeine malate because I'm going to get to that in a second. I want to jump to Elevate-TP, the ancient peat and apple extract. Now, Elevate-TP, it's a real cool substance. It's a registered substance. It's made by a pharmaceutical company called Futureceuticals. Now, what it does is it circumvents precursors to ATP, such as creatine monohydrate, creatine hydrochloride. It kind of circumvents them or kind of jumps straight over them and is a different way of increasing your body's production of ATP. So on one hand, you can use creatine to increase ATP, in which case you're dealing with quite big doses, and some people obviously respond well to some types of creatine, not so well to other types of creatine, depending on what the creatine's bonded with. MTS and my brother Marc Lobliner has gone creatine. In this here Ruckus, we're skipping straight over that mother. We're going straight to the Elevate-TP, going to give you the same, if not better results than you would get from creatine in production of ATP. Plus you can use a much smaller amount. You guys will see right there, 150 milligrams is the Futureceutical recommended clinical dose right there of the Elevate-TP. So that's really going to be in there. Obviously, when you increase ATP, you help with muscle power. It's going to help you get more reps, more sets, and stimulate more muscle growth. Now let's jump back and let's get to the dicaffeine malate in combination with the N-methyltyramine in combination with the hordenine HCl. So dicaffeine malate is the trademarked Infinergy version of dicaffeine malate. It's ionically bonded caffeine and malic acid. So 75% caffeine, 25% malic acid approximately. There's 404 milligrams in total of Infinergy in this Ruckus, which yields just about, I think it's just under 300 milligrams of caffeine. So 404 milligrams of Infinergy, which is ionically bonded about 75% caffeine. You guys can do the maths. That would make it actually just over 300 milligrams of caffeine by weight. For viewers at home who are unaware, the benefits of Infinergy, the benefits that you get of bonding caffeine to malic acid ionically is it effectively works as a buffered caffeine. So you don't get any post-caffeine crash that you would normally get from caffeine anhydrous or different types of caffeine, and you also don't get any gastrointestinal upset that some people can get when they consume high doses of caffeine in a short period of time. The other benefit of Infinergy is as it's buffered caffeine, it doesn't hit you as fast as caffeine anhydrous and other types of caffeine, and it tends to last a little bit longer than your standard caffeine. Moving right along, so you've got your Infinergy in combination with N-methyltyramine hydrochloride in a 50 milligram dose. That's a pretty standard dose of N-methyltyramine hydrochloride. That's obviously a stimulant. It's going to actually increase your body's production of adrenaline and therefore increase energy. And that in combination with 50 milligrams of hordenine hydrochloride, aka N-dimethyltyramine, also 50 milligram dose, also pretty standard dose. Those two combined with the Infinergy is going to give you a crazy amount of energy, man. Crazy amount of stimulation for those workouts. Got yourself about 35% artificial colors, artificial flavors. And that's what's in it. So notably, the first few things that you'll notice just looking through the nutritional information panel are some omissions, especially when you're comparing it to MTS's other pre-workout, the complete pre-workout crash. The two notable omissions, probably three actually, three notable omissions are creatine. There's no creatine, there's no type of creatine, but there is Elevate-TP, which some people may consider to actually be superior to creatine. There is no beta-alanine, at all. There's actually nothing really in there for muscular endurance apart from the full gram of taurine, but apart from that, there's no beta-alanine, there's nothing in there specifically for muscular endurance. And then finally, there's no agmatine or citrulline or anything specifically in there just for muscle pumps. You do have betaine nitrate. Obviously, betaine in itself does have some vasodilating effect, some nitric oxide boosting effect. The nitrates are in there primarily for nitric oxide boosting effect, but there's no specific ingredient for muscle pumps. So there's no agmatine, there's no citrulline, there's no arginine or nitrosogene or anything like that in there. Those are probably the three notable exceptions when you look at the nutritional information panel. Apart from that, it's pretty simple to see. This is a very high stimulant, hard-hitting nitrate-based pre-workout supplement. That's exactly what the Ruckus is designed to do. In terms of how it tastes, how it mixes, comes in 5 flavors, viewers at home. Straight off the bat, MTS aren't here to spiders. Drop this mother with 5 flavors. Straight off the bat. Comes in fruit punch. Comes in green apple. Comes in blue raspberry. Comes in lemon lime. Comes in grape drink. Now I have tried 4 of the flavors already. I've trained on Ruckus 4 times so far, and I've tried 4 flavors. The one flavor I haven't tried just happens to be this here grape drink. So if I was to rank the flavors so far in the ones I've tried, green apple is spectacular. And it's not surprising that all the flavors are really good. I'll rank them for you guys. All the flavors are really good. It's not surprising. Lobliner, Marc Lobliner, the owner of MTS, has got 35% artificial colors and flavors to mess around with. So if the flavors weren't spectacular, you'd be pretty damn pissed. But the flavors are all really good. If I had to rank them so far, without trying grape, we'll slide grape in a second, I would go green apple number 1, blue raspberry number 2, fruit punch number 3. The fruit punch, funnily enough, is not a cherry-based American fruit punch. It's more of a raspberry. It's got a raspberry kind of tone to it. It's more like a raspberry. For the Australian viewers at home, you know what it tastes like? It tastes like Cotty's raspberry cordial. To throw it back to my early childhood years. You guys will know what I'm saying. It's more of a raspberry fruit punch than anything else. And then after that, lemon lime, because I don't citrus, man. I just don't get down with it. Anyway. Infamous MassiveJoes taste and mixability test about to go down with my first try of this here Ruckus grape drink, and then I'll rank grape in there based on what I just told you guys. So we've got the infamous MassiveJoes double wall glass. Got myself a brand new tub of this grape. This is going in my personal collection if it tastes good. Rip the safety off this bitch. Rip the lid off this bitch. Am I gonna be able to bro punch this? Yeah! Bro punch this bitch in! Ah! Favorite part of opening new supplements. Gotta hit it with the bro punch, viewers at home. Alright, so check it. Actually, the one thing I will say as well, because I know a bunch of people will be asking this, of all the flavors, the blue raspberry does actually clump up a little bit. It's the only flavor that does it. All of the other flavors are a real fine powder like that. But for some reason, the blue raspberry, it must have something to do with the flavoring system, is a little bit kind of more I wouldn't call it clumpy, it's more granular than the other flavors. But the rest of the flavors are like a real fine powder, like what you guys are about to see here. So I'm gonna take 1 scoop because I'm not using that much water right here. 1 scoop of this here Ruckus in the grape drink. Take that bitch, throw this bitch in this bitch, and let it rain, let it rain. Few flicks of the wrist, just like that. I'm gonna show you guys how it mixes and refresh my memory, well not refresh my memory, for the first time. See how this grape drink tastes, man. All right, that's enough mixing. So you guys can see that's pretty damn well mixed. No floaters, no sinkers, nothing floating or carrying on in the middle there. I would go so far as to say blender ball is not required. For this here MTS Ruckus pre-workout, let's try the grape. The grape is on point, man. The grape is on point. If I was to throw grape into my rankings would now go like this. Green apple is just, man, miles ahead of the rest. I would probably then put grape as second. That is a really nice grape. I want to drink more of it. I've kind of hit my stimulant intake level for this time of day at the moment, but fuck it. Yeah, grape is definitely second. Then blue raspberry, then fruit punch, then lemon lime. But all the flavors, they're really pleasant. Like I would actually like that type of flavor in machine fuel, in MTS machine fuel, because I would drink that shit all damn day. It really tastes that good. In terms of the effects, because that's what you guys want to know. You want to know about the effects of this here ruckus. You want to know if it's going to help you bring the motherfucking ruckus. That's what you're taking the shit for. I've trained on it 4 times. The reason why I train on it 4 times is because I've done different things with it. The first time I trained on Ruckus, I stacked it with Vasky. That's obviously what Marc recommends, what MTS recommends. Ruckus and Vasky, stack them bitches together. You get the enhanced pumps from Vasky that go really well and they stack together really well. Then I trained legs on it, just on Ruckus with no pump addition. I trained chest just on Ruckus with no pump addition. And then I trained delts on Ruckus with core pump. And I wanted to see how that compared to Vasky. Let me rank those for you guys as well. Ruckus plus core pump will blow your mind. That workout that I did with delts, I did it last night. It was unbelievable. The pump was sick. Ruckus with Vasky is almost as good as Ruckus plus pump, almost. Ruckus by itself is a very solid pre-workout in its own right. What you can expect to notice with Ruckus in its own right, without stacking it with Vasky or pump or anything, and this is pretty consistent no matter what you stack it with, is because there's no caffeine anhydrous. All of the caffeine in there is coming from Infinergy. It's the buffered caffeine. So the first thing you'll notice is that it doesn't come on fast like most high stimulant pre-workouts. Most high stimulant pre-workouts, you take them and within 10-15 minutes, it's game time. Ruckus does not do that. The first time I took Ruckus, I was disappointed for the first 15-20 minutes because I was like, man, I just double scooped this bitch, it did nothing. Then I started training, getting into my working sets, and by the time I was at the end of my my first exercise, the third working set of my first exercise, or fourth or fifth, whatever it was game time. Like, it comes on. It takes a while to come on, 20-25 minutes to come on, but when it comes on, it's on. It is on. The energy that you get off Ruckus is absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal and very, very clean is the one thing that I've noticed with Ruckus. The energy takes a while to come on, but once it's on, and it lasts for a long period of time. Every single time I've taken Ruckus, I've been physically and psychologically in an elevated state for probably 6 hours after I've taken it. I've usually been taking it about 6 p.m. at night, sometimes a little bit later, and I'll be stimulated up until midnight that night. So the energy takes a while to come on, but when it does come on, it's very strong and it lasts for a long period of time. The mental focus you get off Ruckus is just, I told you guys that it's a stupidly overdosed amount of Acetyl Tyrosine crossing the blood-brain barrier, helping with mental focus. The mental focus that you get off Ruckus is just phenomenal. And it's not, don't get it twisted, it's not tunnel vision mental focus. It's not like other pre-workouts that we've said in the past where it's just like, man, you are just locked in. It's not that at all. It's just an elevated state of cognition is probably the best way I can put it. So it's not going to lock you into your workouts necessarily and just black everything else out. But if you're focused on what you're doing, it's going to enhance that focus. It actually, it makes me wonder if it'd be good as like a pre-work supplement. Not workout, but when you've got some really important work to do, double scoop some Ruckus. And I think that if you're focused on whatever you're doing, you are just gonna absolutely dominate whatever you're doing. It's a really, really nice elevated state of mental alertness. So yeah, the not tunnel vision mental focus, but really elevated concentration on what you're concentrating on. Ruckus in its own right, in terms of muscle pumps, is good. It's not great. Obviously, it doesn't have agmatine in there, it doesn't have nitrosogene, it doesn't have any muscle volumizers like glycerol, hydromax, nothing like that. In itself, the nitrates and the betaine nitrate in there does give you a decent muscle pump, but it's not a stupid muscle pump, it's not stupid vascularity. When you stack it with Vasky, that pretty much triples. When you stack that with Core Pump, the mother goes tenfold. The pumps, when you stack Ruckus with Core Pump, are just absolutely phenomenal. What else can I say? What else can I really tell you guys about it? You know what? The one thing that I'm missing, and this is probably the one thing that really sets Ruckus apart from every other high stimulant pre-workout that I've ever used. And you guys would know I'm generally not a big fan of high stimulant pre-workouts. I don't like the high stim pre-workouts that just make you feel like your head is going to explode. The most incredible effect that I've had from Ruckus, and this is every single time I've taken it. This is whether it's stacked with Vasky or Core Pump or taken by itself. And I can put this in perspective for you guys because at the moment I'm 2 weeks out from a show. So my energy levels are very low. My strength levels should be very low. And I shouldn't be able to move the kind of weights that I move in the off season because I just don't have the calories, the carbohydrates to be doing so. Every single time I've taken Ruckus, the muscle power has been phenomenal. The muscle power has been, I've been moving, I go from last week not training on Ruckus, training on other pre-workouts, to this week training on Ruckus, and I'm lifting like 15% heavier this week. I'm back to my off-season weights in terms of what I'm lifting. And I've trained back on this. I've trained chest, I've trained legs, and I've trained delts. And I'm back to lifting off-season weights. And the only thing I can really put that down to has to be the Elevate TP. There's no creatine in there, there's nothing. The Elevate TP, in terms of just muscle power, being able to actually move, just move mass weight, compared to not taking the Elevate TP, not taking the Ruckus, is just quite simply phenomenal. Especially being this close to a contest for me is just absolutely ridiculous. The final thing I will say, viewers at home, is the price point on Ruckus is ridiculous. You're looking at, in the Australian marketplace, $49.95. You can't buy any pre-workout for $49.95 anymore. $49.95 for 40 scoops. Pushy cats are going to be fine taking one scoop. Even fellas, if you're double scooping it, you're going $49.95 for 20 serves. The value for money, the actual price per serve, the dollars per serve on this Ruckus is just crazy. And then finally, to conclude, I will say this, because there has been some marketing around Ruckus, and obviously the way it's positioned with MTS is to be the crazy high stimulant pre-workout supplement. If you are a stim junkie, and you just like those pre-workouts that are just blow your head off type pre-workouts, Ruckus is probably not going to get it done for you because it's not that stupidly high stim pre-workout. It's just not. Compared to Clash, it's much higher stimulant, it's much higher energy. For people like myself who don't really like, I wouldn't consider myself a stim junkie. I don't really like the stupidly strong pre-workout supplements. I don't like the feel, I don't like the post-workout crash, I don't like any of the kind of side effects that go along with it. But occasionally I do want a stronger pre-workout to like a complete pre-workout, which I use most of the time. That's where Ruckus is really going to come in. For people that are used to using complete pre-workout supplements that aren't crazy high in stims, for those workouts when you do want something that's going to hit a little bit harder, give you a little bit more energy for a little bit longer period of time, and just boost your muscle power up, this here MTS Ruckus is for you guys. Guys, hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, man. Stay up to date with all the latest editions of MassiveJoes RAW review and everything else in our YouTube channel. And guys, that is MassiveJoes RAW review on the all-new MTS Ruckus in the house. And I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Stay massive.
Marc Lobliner, CEO, MTS Nutrition, here to tell you the best place in Australia to buy MTS nutrition supplements is MassiveJoes.com. Stay massive.